This is Media Ministry Solo Edition. There are so many misconceptions about media ministry, an effective media ministry, advanced media ministry. Lots of misconceptions, and we're covering that in this series. This series is all about how you can, as a solo person, an individual with no other help, how you can maximize your time and maximize your effectiveness in media ministry. You can build a very advanced media ministry if you're just by yourself and no one else is helping you. We don't want you to feel like you're going to get stuck there, so we're going to give you a plan on how to build a more advanced media ministry where you can get out from being the solo person in the media ministry into training others to run it and helping them run it for themselves so that you can do what you've been called to do, which is the number one thing, preaching. You're probably a pastor. You're probably either a youth pastor. I've been given the baton of saying, figure out how to do media ministry. Learn how to use Instagram, create reels, get people to attend our church and learn about the gospel using the modern publishing platforms, which would be like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And your pastor and or you as the pastor have decided, I want to get the message of Jesus into my community. How can I do that more effectively? And this thing called a camera is unaccessible to me. And this thing called a computer that will help me edit videos is unaccessible to me currently. If that's possibly where you're at, and or if you just have this mindset that says, in order to do media ministry effectively, meaning create videos and pictures and do graphics, I need to be an expert. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth. And thankfully, I have been there and helped other pastors like yourself learn how to advance their media ministry, train up their staffs internally. People that went from zero knowledge of how to use a computer have now gone to creating graphics with a computer. An individual who didn't know how to use a camera has now learned how to use a camera and is video editing and creating content that glorifies Jesus, spreads the message of Jesus, and reaches more hearts with the gospel, and therefore leads more people into gospel ministry because of their investment into media ministry and into their lives, training themselves to learn how to advance themselves so that they can use the modern publishing tools that we have today to get the message of Jesus into the world and get preaching into the world and get the gospel into communities that are local. We have such an amazing platform and opportunity right now in the modern era of publishing. We have such a huge, amazing opportunity to leverage these tools for the gospel and for people to really find peace and love in a community of greatness, which is called the Church of God. We want to help you learn how to advance your media ministry. It's my burning desire to want to invest what I know into others that love the Lord and that want to maximize their life for the gospel. There's so much you can do right now in a free way using your phone. You don't need anything else. You don't need a computer. You don't need anything other than the thing you already have in your pocket. This is a camera. This is a video editing software platform. This is capable of doing video editing, capable of taking some of the most advanced photography. This phone is the thing I think you need to learn how to master. And we're going to help you learn how to do that in this series. This series is how to run a media ministry by yourself. This is going to be so fun to see people go from having no understanding on how to use their phone for media ministry to utilizing this to create advanced graphics, to create outreach material that reaches so many people because you learn how to record video, edit video, and then publish it into platforms that are online where your local community can start hearing from you and finding you and then therefore visiting you and your church and hearing the gospel and being at the seat of Jesus weekly because you're faithful at reaching them in the areas and in the communities that they find themselves, that people are in today. And that is online communities. Online communities are blossoming all over the place. Facebook groups, Facebook everything, and Instagram everything, and the other fringe apps like TikTok and Snapchat. If you learn how to master this tool, I want to just share with you what that looks like through this video series. It really is very, very easy if you have someone coaching you along the way. So this is a series giving you a how to advance your media ministry as a solo media person at your church. You might be a volunteer, you might be a pastor, you might be a youth pastor that's been given this role of media director, and you can do it by yourself. There's so much you can do right now, and the only thing you need to do is make sure you have the right attitude. You're going to get some how-to parts to this video, but also encouragement for me that says don't give up. You can't give up on media ministry, especially advanced media ministry, like we're going to show you how to do. But it's easy if you have someone like myself, a mentor, a media ministry mentor, just guiding you. Don't have a limiting mindset. Have a mindset that says, I can figure this out. I'm going to figure it out, okay? And you need to have this in mind. I'm going to be smart and not guess forward. The hard part about media ministry is you can get yourself in a place where you just spend and waste tons of time guessing forward. You go and you just start trying to figure things out on your own. You become an island to yourself and you just have to guess forward, and it takes years and years, but eventually, possibly, and this is a guesswork. This is what guesswork does. Possibly you advance yourself and you actually start making a difference through media ministry. You don't want to be that person. You want to be the person who just finds an expert, gets in front of them, asks them the right questions, grows alongside them, and has this mind on them that says, I'm not going to guess forward anymore in media ministry. I'm just going to go with what's proven, learn what's proven, figure it out, and then teach others on how to do it. And you can do that right now. So commit. I'm going to be smart, and I'm not going to guess forward. I'm going to take the proven, and I'm going to apply it to my church media ministry, and we're going to grow that media ministry with proven tactics from an expert forward approach versus a guess forward approach. Okay, so that's what this channel is all about. Investing into you, God's people who are faithful to God. If you believe the Bible, this is a channel for you, or we're going to help mentor you on advancing your media ministry. It's going to be awesome. So we're going to give you answers, but also if the answers aren't in this channel about what your hurdle is, you have options. You can schedule a time with us. We have a media ministry help desk. It's our media ministry free option for you to just schedule a call with either myself or someone on the team, and you're gonna be able to ask your questions about how to get over the hurdle that you currently are facing on creating that graphic or that video that's due tomorrow. Okay, so utilize an expert, but also utilize the tools that are available to you. Someone has probably already figured out the problem that you're trying to solve, and it's on YouTube somewhere, and or it's on Google, and it's in some Reddit discussion. Find the answer, stop trying to guess forward, and stop wasting your time trying to figure it out on your own. Sometimes that's going to have to happen, and that's where that I'm not going to give up attitude is important. But the most important attitude is I'm going to be smart, and I'm going to be humble, and I'm going to be the kind of person that is going to go and find help, and so that I'm smart, because guessing forward is not the best thing for you. When you're trying to maximize your time as a media leader, as a ministry leader, you don't want to just be guessing and wasting time. Okay, let's try to avoid that as much as possible. And so that's why for me, I get a big heart to want to be in the ministry that I'm a part of. I help pastors advance their media ministries. I become a coach for their staff, and they hire me to teach their staff how to advance themselves as graphic designers, as web developers, and as video producers. I've actually taught at a Bible college in New Jersey, the principles that we'll be teaching through this channel, and also I've just been a mentor to a lot of ministry leaders and their teams, and their media teams specifically, and have launched a lot of media ministries across the country in about 10 to 15 years that I've been doing this. We've helped hundreds of churches And I just love that I get to do what I do, and it is incredible. And my hope is that this channel will just be able to help thousands of churches instead of hundreds, right? That is the goal right there. Okay, so this attitude that you need to have, a no give up attitude, this is super important because it's 100% going to be worth the effort. 100% your investment into media ministry, if you're not guessing forward and you're being smart and you're being humble and you're growing yourself through an expert and or through really great answers that you find online on how to do media ministry, and you're just not an island, you're not wasting time, it's going to be 100% worth all of your effort. You're going to reach people with media ministry. Advanced media ministry reaches people. And when you reach those people, you can then lead them into gospel ministry if they accept the Lord. That is so beautiful. So the way that you catch them is the way that you're going to lead them. You can use media ministry to lead people into next steps if you're calibrated and you're skilled in the way of how to use cameras. And specifically, you don't need an advanced equipment list. You could just start with what you have in your pocket, which is amazing. So just aside, my attitude is I'm going to have a no quit attitude. I'm just going to figure it out. I can figure it out. And start small and scale from there. We're going to teach you how to do that in this video series. In the next 6 months, I'm going to be creating this series. We're going to teach you how to go from just using your phone for taking pictures to using your phone to record videos, chopping those up into reels, and then also using this for graphic design purposes to create flyers or whatever you need to create to invite people to your church and get people to through the doors of your church where the gospel is going to be presented and people are going to be loved. So we're going to start with this, and then we're going to teach you how you can then teach others. That's your commitment right now. That's the way of Jesus, right? Commit to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. That is true in media ministry. You have to learn that if you're learning these tactics and these skills, you have to decide right now that you're going to have someone shadow you, and or the moment you find someone who has an inkling of an interest into this, you're going to invest into them. You're going to give them what they need in order to help you with media ministry, because you're going to find these people who have a hunger and a desire to be in media ministry. They're going to be so zealous for it. They're going to be so on fire for wanting to grow their craft as a creative. There are people in the world that want this to be their number one thing for life. And I've been around these people for the past 20 years in media ministry, in churches, and these people are just some of my favorite people to be around. A lot of times they are introverts, but they're extremely, extremely all about the desire of wanting to communicate. They just are trying to find the best median to communicate through. And the introvert and or the extrovert that wants to be in front of the camera, those are some of the most amazing tools you can use for the gospel at God's church, because you can communicate through those people, and there will be the people that just want to be behind the scenes, equipping the church and guiding people to Jesus through technology and helping others have a platform and find a platform. These individuals that are creative, that want to be in the creative space, they'll give their whole attention and all of their heart to this end, so that they can grow themselves and so that they can get the message of Jesus into the world. These people are going to be innovators, meaning they kind of are artist types. A lot of times they're going to be dressing different than the regular attender. They appreciate aesthetics a lot of times. They appreciate someone that thinks a little bit different. They're going to think different. They're going to be a little bit more open-minded than the philosopher, than the prophet of your church. They're going to be open to new ways of communicating. And that is a powerful, powerful tool if surrendered to the Holy Spirit. There's going to be those that, yes, they just want to be too creative, and they're not going to be the most theologically sound, And you don't want those kinds of people on your team. You want the person that is surrendered to Jesus and the Holy Spirit, but also has an open-mindedness about how they can use their life for ministry and in ministry. And they're going to be creative, and they're going to maximize their lives for the gospel by being creative, finding the new way to get the message out into the world, possibly creating new apps and new ways of people finding Jesus. Those are the kinds of people you want to invest into. And for me, those kinds of people are so exciting to meet and be around. Okay, so here's the commitment that I'm asking you to commit to. Every week, commit to at least an hour or two to learning media ministry. Watch your YouTube video and then follow the steps on how to accomplish the things that are in that video. Watch how to use your phone to create videos. Figure it out. Every week, though, figure out your schedule. Do a time audit of your schedule and say, when can I schedule about an hour to 2 hours of my personal time to dedicate my life to growing and learning media ministry? If you do that, you're going to advance yourself and you're going to be able to figure it out. You're going to learn how to do things in a way that maximizes your time and reaches people with the gospel through advancing your media ministry skill. That is so important. Maximizing your skill in media ministry is the most important thing. And just having this decision of every week, I'm going to just set aside some time to learn and to grow. And I'm going to figure it out. Okay, that is a huge commitment. To run a media ministry solo, it means you don't have anyone else to help you with your media ministry. So you're just going to have to figure it out on your own, right? This is really important. It's super important because if you don't do it, no one else will. Here's what I need to explain to you. You got to be okay with these things. Number one, you're going to be solo. That's okay. You'll figure it out and you'll be able to teach others also. You probably won't have expensive equipment. This is all you need. I guarantee you can start with your phone. Hey, you don't need expensive equipment to do advanced media ministry. I promise. Actually, what's in your pocket is the perfect place to start. I have a coffee shop that I ran, and we were awarded the best coffee shop in my area. What did I use to publish? I didn't do any ads. I think I spent maybe $50 on an ad and it wasn't working. So I was like, I'm going to stop doing ads and I'm just going to start using my phone as my camera, as my video editor to create content that gets the word out about my coffee shop. And guess what? Within 7 months of me using just only this, primarily this, I got the word out so effectively, tons of people decided, hey, in my area, you're the best coffee shop. And I loved that. We've done this with other ministries as well. We've done this with churches. We've started them with phones, and then as they advanced, we taught them and trained them on how to use professional equipment. When they reached more people, and therefore more people were giving, and you could invest more into the media ministry that led more people to the Lord to give. This is going to be something that scales. The more investment you do into media ministry, the more investment you can put into media ministry, because it's the thing that is getting the word out about your church and about the preaching there and about the Jesus that we preach about. And it's going to lead people to Jesus, and it's going to be an avenue and a tool for you to lead people into gospel ministry once they've been saved. So you want to continue investing into it because it's the tool, it's the platform, it's the best thing you can invest into to publish the message of Jesus today. Equipment that advances the gospel into new worlds and new platforms, which is, again, there's going to be new ones in the future, and the ones that are currently available to us are amazing. So grow your media ministry. So we want you to commit to progress, and it's going to be slow, but don't quit. Commit to progress. Commit to learning here, and then commit to not just staying there, but growing as your media ministry reaches people. It's going to grow. It's going to be amazing. And you're just going to be wanting to invest more, and we're going to help you learn where to invest more of your resources so that you advance yourself in media ministry and reach more people. So also, I need you to commit to not quitting. Media ministry can be very confusing. It can be really annoying sometimes because you're working with technology that is flawed. Just like we're flawed, technology is extremely flawed, and you have to sometimes figure out when something is a bug versus when something's not working and you don't know what you're doing. Sometimes you know what you're doing, but the technology is actually just not working with you. So just have a no quit attitude. Remember, we started there. Then once you figure things out, you have a well of knowledge and start investing that into people who poke their heads out. The more media ministry you do, the more you advance yourself in media ministry, the more the artist types, like I described, will start poking their head out and saying, oh, that's a cool camera, or hey, that's a great picture you posted, or can I help you do photos or do graphics? I'm learning myself. Those people will start poking their heads out because now you're proving to them that you're going to maximize their investment. If an artist shows up to your church and you're not doing any media ministry, or a creative shows up to your church and you don't prove that you value media ministry because you're not doing it, the artist and the creative type and the person who could volunteer for you is not going to even show an interest because they're really not going to qualify you as someone who's going to steward them properly. The moment you start doing media ministry in an effective, more advanced way, you start proving to people who want to give their lives to that they will, when they invest their time, that time's going to be maximized and it's going to be effective and it's actually going to be stewarded properly. The worst thing for an artist and a creative to do with their time is to invest it into someone who doesn't appreciate it. So they're not going to poke their head out until you start proving to them that you are going to steward them properly and use them in a way that is effective for the gospel. And better yet, you're going to start advancing your media ministry and you're going to be able to reach more people. You're going to get possibly a bigger budget because these new people are starting to give to your church so others can find the gospel. And the beautiful thing here is you'll be able to start hiring some of your volunteers. You'll start being able to have them part-time, and then they'll transition into full-time media ministry team members. And for me, that is so exciting. For me, that is what has happened at our church. Most of the people on our staff that are on the media team started in volunteer roles, and then they became part-time and they became full-time. And now it's multi-staff deep, and we have just an amazing opportunity ahead of us to continue to reach more people. So I'm going to hit you with the things you're going to expect, the challenges in running a solo media ministry. It's not going to always be this way, but to start, here is what you should expect. Here's the hurdles, and possibly you're already in the hurdle right now, and I just wanted to give you some hope through the hurdles because they're coming and they are very real. And the number one thing is time. It's going to be really hard for you to find the time for it. That's why for me, it's super important that you just commit to at least an hour or two a week, and that will grow because you'll see the effectiveness of it and you'll see the wise investment of putting more time to growing a media ministry. But for now, just commit to an hour or two a week and figure this media ministry landscape out. It's going to be so worth it, but the hardest thing for you is to find the time. So do a time audit, look at your schedule and say, here, I got 2 hours that I can invest, and just schedule it, put in your calendar, have no nonsense mindset towards that, and say, I can do this. Also, once you do have time for it and you've allotted time for it, expect you're going to bite off more than you can chew. Eventually, media ministry, you start seeing how effective it is, and you're going to start being ambitious. You're going to start saying, oh, I think I could do this video and this graphic and this Instagram post all today in 2 hours. It's not realistic. What you're going to want to do is figure out what you can do right now, grow your skill set, and then give that current project that is weekly to someone else, and then you go and you do the new so that you can figure out the new and then give it to someone else to own. Doing it solo, you can replicate yourself. through volunteers. They don't even have to be creative people. Sometimes media ministry can just be super processed in nature instead of creative. When it comes to the most effective tools you have to reach people with the gospel, the best is your sermons. And you can have anyone learn how to cut up your sermon, record a sermon, sync the audio, and then get a reel into the world. That person doesn't need to be creative. They just need to be a process-friendly person. Okay, so next, you're not going to get good right away. You're going to probably fail a lot. It might get frustrating, but that's okay. You're allotting those weekly hours, and eventually you're just like any other trade and or skill or thing you jump into. You're going to get good. It's just going to be a really slow process to start. And the more you do it, the easier it's going to be for you, and you're going to be less frustrated because you're going to have more answers. So don't get frustrated that you're not getting really good right away. It's okay, especially in design. When you're designing a Instagram post or learning how to use your phone to update a template, it might take you a minute to figure out how to do it, and it might take you a long time to get to a level where you're world class in your aesthetic on design. That's okay. We're going to give you the tactics on how to be world class, but not have to necessarily be an amazing designer. You can get there. It's going to take a lot of time, just like with any other craft, and especially in design. When you're learning how to design, you're going to have the most advanced tools that you have to learn, and those are just going to take a long time for you to learn how to memorize, how to use. And that's okay. And you don't even need to get into that level to be super effective in media ministry. But if you have a heart's desire to get there and to get the rest of your team there also, it's just going to take time, and be okay with the slow process. Also, you're not always going to have the budget that you think you need. That's a clear indicator that your media ministry is being effective. But don't be fooled in believing that you need a bigger budget to be more effective in media ministry. Usually it just means you got to be more wise, and you got to be a better steward of the things you currently already have. Like right now for myself, I have a list of equipment that I haven't bought yet because I haven't said I absolutely need those. But at the moment that I say I absolutely need those, they're going to be put into the cart online, and they're going to be shipped to me, and it's going to be amazing, mighty days. Usually though, the bottleneck is I don't have the money for the equipment, but that's okay because I have this other option. You can just figure things out. I've used boxes as tripods because I only had one tripod, but I needed 3 cameras on set. I've used, actually, the last video shoot that I did, that was the case, and you could never tell. It was a budget limit, but I figured things out and I got the job done. Amazing what you can do when you just have a no-quit attitude. Also, you won't have the help you think you need. Just be okay with that. For now, you're not going to have the help you think you need. So be okay with it and figure things out on your own by having a media ministry mentor. You can use us, and/or you can go and just figure out things online by asking the right questions in Google and in YouTube. And you're just going to be able to grow. Don't get bogged down by thinking you don't have the people that you need. Just do what you can. Allot time to your media ministry every week, and be okay with it being limited for now. Just don't be okay with it not progressing and not growing and not being utilized. Commit to progress, and with that commitment will come faithfulness with what you currently have, and God will always give you more if you're being faithful, and people are coming to faith in Him because of your faithfulness. God will give to you much if you're faithful with the little, okay? Remember that. Then lastly, you will get tired of doing media ministry. But that's okay, because we're not trying to get you to be a full-time graphic designer or a video editor or a web social media person. We're just trying to get you to the place where you use your current allotment of time that you're comfortable using for media ministry and maximizing your efforts and doing media ministry the way that you know how right now as a solo lead person at your church, as a solo person at your church, just commit to saying, this might get old fast, but I'm committed to keeping this media ministry alive until we can get someone else to run it that will be super energized by this media ministry. For now, be okay with it kind of feeling like a drag and like you're working out. At times, you're just not going to be built for wanting this to be your number one thing. For me, that's not the case. The more media ministry I do, the more I want to do. There are parts of media ministry that I could care less about doing more of. Sometimes sitting behind a computer for 10 hours video editing, for me, I'd rather just give that to someone else at times. But there's a birthing process in media ministry, and I fall back in love with it at the end of a project, usually. When I'm in the middle of a big project, things can get tiring and I can want to quit. And that's okay. Continue to just decide, I'm going to give this to someone eventually, and that's going to help you. All right, so the strategy that I want to give you right now that you should commit to is find the time. Do a time audit. Schedule in your calendar an hour to 2 hours a week and just start learning media ministry. You could follow this series. If there's multiple videos of this series already, which we are committed to putting on YouTube, just every week, watch one video and then follow the steps that week as much as you can, or plan for the next week. Instead of watching a new video, you implement the how-to in this series. Okay, so for this one, we're going to teach you how to use your phone to take pictures. Okay, so, and what it means to use your phone for creating aspirational images and how effective that is to reaching people in your community with the gospel. So learn something new every week and or every other week and implement what you've learned that week at your church to reach more people with the gospel by advancing your media ministry. It's amazing. Okay, so you're going to find the time because you're going to do a time audit, and then you're going to go and find some ways to advance your media ministry. You're going to learn, and then you're going to practice what you've learned, and then you're going to implement that practice into your media ministry. And then lastly, you're going to start enlisting people. Try to find one person who shadows you on a Sunday to learn from you. And maybe even during the time that you have allotted for your media ministry learning, find someone to shadow you and follow your lead and or do the how-tos with you so that there's another person you're investing into that can invest into someone else. So that is the strategy that I'm giving to you right now. If you implement this strategy, I promise you're going to have a super advanced media ministry in 2 to 3 years that is reaching thousands of people with the gospel. And possibly in the next week to 2 weeks, you'll have your first visitor because you implemented what we're going to be sharing in this video, which is how to create aspirational images that reach people in your community to want to visit your church. Right now, a lot of churches are using graphics to try to invite people to their events and or to church. That doesn't work. It rarely works. If you just take your camera on a Sunday right after you preach and or right after church is done or right before church when people are coming in and greeting each other, if you just take your camera out and you use your phone to take pictures of people interacting, smiling, laughing, hugging, enjoying community, and you post those to your Instagram and or your Facebook weekly, when someone new finds your church or hears about your church and they go to your account, they're going to see aspirational images. And if they're consistently being posted, it's going to show the reality of what you are, a community of people loving each other and in community with each other, encouraging each other and loving each other. When you successfully cast an aspirational image into the world through media, that your place is a place to belong and be loved and find community, people will hunger for that and they'll want to just visit because of the images. If you cast an image into the world that is aspirational, an individual will want to and aspire to be in the image and say, man, those people look like awesome people and they seem so happy. I'm not happy. I'm lost. Maybe I should go visit. You see how the heart pulse is that towards the Church of God? The Church of God is one of the most beautiful images that exist today. It's a diverse group of people that come together weekly to encourage and love each other and grow with each other. When you capture those moments of love and you post them on your social media regularly, you are going to inspire, and someone's going to be wanting to aspire to be in that image with you and your church family. So do yourself a favor. Just start using your phone on a regular basis every Sunday, and that day or the next, post the best pictures from that day and give a quick thank you to your church for loving each other, or a quick caption that says amazing things happened today and give us summation. But the most important thing is not the caption, is the pictures. Post pictures, stop posting graphics. Graphics are largely ignored. If you want a graphic, make it encouraging. Make a graphic say something that is encouraging and that is truthful from the Word of God. Those will go further than, hey, we got a potluck this Sunday. Hey, this Sunday come to church. You're gonna find hope. With no image, those don't do anything. They hardly even get engagement, and you're just gonna be pretty much wasting your time. And that's it for this episode of how to manage and how to lead a media ministry solo. You can do it. I love that I get to be a part of this series of growing people's media ministry from nothing to something that is reaching people and leading people to Jesus. If some of this has helped you and you've seen fruit from what we've shared today, love it if you put it in the comments, give us a testimony, and or if you have a heart to want to grow your media ministry and you feel like you need a mentor, you're welcome to schedule some time at mediaministry.church with me, and we will see you on the next episode and or on a video call. I'm about to actually jump into a video call right now with the pastor. And for me, that's one of my favorite things to do, is to meet pastors, hear their story, assess where they're at in media ministry, and help them advance so that more gospel ministry is happening and more people are led into gospel ministry. And that right there is why we do media ministry, even if it means we do it on our own. Okay, so commit. Let's make moves in the world of publishing for Jesus. That's it.